Last time on the Empire's Edge.
You're detecting that there is a faint necromancy, as though the whole place or the whole horde is like a desecration.
But I think you should carry it.
I'm more. Thank you.
Jacob, you're looking suspiciously like a guinea pig recently. Have you changed your hair?
Yeah. I am morbidly curious what this actual curse is.
You feel tired.
Uh-oh. Let's get out of here.
As soon as you do, there is like a rush of energy, there's sound.
I've made a mistake.
Kind of a long shot. How's your casting of Hallow?
I want to find a moment to go and harvest a few things from the dragon.
How are the XO reacting?
Yeah, that's
Gladly
what
take
I
a
was
bit of
wondering
hide,
about that too.
staring at them while I do it as I cut into their god.
Yeah, and I do intend to put a fortress here.
I could see maybe establishing a camp, but I don't see staying here long term. Well then, those of you that were involved in this, you need to make a blood sacrifice. And with the blood sacrifice, you could be free of that taint.
Boris!
I start moving to where Jacob is.
And you get there and you can see that that guy, Mundir, is standing there with him, and they're near the carcass of the dragon.
What's going on?
I've been told that apparently either he or he knows something to do with our blood and this curse, but all I heard was he wanted my blood.
Okay, killed one vampire. I can kill another one. Explain more clearly, please.
That you feel it. You're drained. You're weakened by this thing. It's its very nature, what it's doing to the stuff that's in here. That if all of you that are involved in its killing and the robbing of its treasure, if you make a blood sacrifice, mix that blood and pour it on its tongue, it should lift it.
Should.
I've never actually seen it done.
Where are you
But I
getting your
believe that to be the
information?
case. I have many sources of information. It's just one of those things. How do you
Usi,
know
go
to
get
tie your
Zelen
shoes?
for me.
I come to where they are.
I haven't wandered around right here. I was going to go upstairs and look through what this hill might have been.
I've got a 16 on religion. Would you want to make an Arcana check to try and assess the veracity of what he's saying?
I can do that too.
And did I get anything from that religion?
At a 16?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're not sure what little bit of esoterica that you had you read through that would have communicated that, but you do think that maybe it was something you picked up in like Timothy's journal or stuff, probably even
Theoretically,
older, that would actually make sense to various things you've read that have been like spell or more ritualistic
payment
related.
to the dead kind of a thing.
Do you know how much blood is needed?
Not that it would be life-threatening to the person lifting the curse. That would be self-defeating. So I would think that an ounce or two would be sufficient.
All right, I'll try it.
Yeah,
I'm willing.
if it makes sense. Yeah, I've got no reason
Well,
to
it sounds
think
like we
bad
all
things
have
would
to
happen.
add a bit.
Do it together.
So
So we
I'll
step up to the dragon's
Yeah.
mouth.
pull out a dagger and...
We'll prop open her. Not on the palm.
No,
That's
I went to my pinky. I was literally like,
I saw your hand out flat and the gesture at about wrist. Like,
yeah, right, just straight down the forearm and just start in the tongue.
yeah, we get results.
He points to a spot that's actually a little ways down your forearm, but not along with the main veining. And he says, that's actually a good spot right there.
yeah, you just make a puncture.
And you're
drip
not,
a bit.
versus anywhere on your hand or not near a joint.
Because you use your hands a lot.
And that really splays them back open again. But I would find a bowl of some kind, drain all of your blood into it, let it mix, and then pour it in there. Yes, for you.
I imagine this genie loves
Master.
me.
Give me the bottle.
Oh, man. Then you get sucked into the bottle like that.
Be a
I've
messy
been carrying
choice.
around this iron pot the whole time. We can use
Perfect.
it.
That's a lot of blood. Okay, yeah,
Perfect.
let's...
Yeah, he said an ounce, not fill the pot.
yeah, so let's mix our blood together
Oh,
and feed it to the
no,
dragon.
like blood siblings.
So you, make the puncture wounds. If there's any,
Pretty sure this is blasphemous.
if there's any of the bugbear nearby, should we be involved in this too?
No, we slew I almost said we slew Ixoa. We slew Aztari.
They slew Exola.
And yet they back off like, sounds better not to participate in whatever this stuff is. It doesn't seem very...
Yeah, no, that wasn't a can we help? It was do we have to?
Yeah, much more like that. And so, you're like, keeping your fists tight. You're letting the blood squeeze out. And when you can see there's an amount, and it seems, you've been bleeding equally,
Yeah.
you grab a cloth from something
Simmer
in
over
your
medium
gear.
heat
Yeah,
for 30
and,
minutes until
um,
reduced.
bandage up, or just do like
We're not clarifying it.
or you do paladin healing and just
No, I just like do half a hit point each
And-
of
make that go away.
lay on hands.
And the blood, he looks at it. He puts his hands on the side of the pot that I'm assuming is just sitting on the ground, and he sloshes it around a little bit, and he says, "I would think that's sufficiently mixed."
Well, I'll open the mouth if you want to pour it.
Okay.
All right, so
So-
you maneuver yourself that way, and Jacob pours. So once it's on its tongue, you can see that its tongue starts to sizzle, and the odor coming from it is somewhere between like being burned and things that you have, I guess, in your own experience, been electrocuted. And as
Have
it
we
does
been
this,
electrocuted? Oh yeah.
yeah,
Much so.
Considering the
Zelen
volume
has-
with which Zelen
Zelen's
electrocutes
electrocuted
things.
stuff, yeah. So
Well, and I
it's-
think we did get caught with lightning bolts a couple times fighting the Razio wizards.
Right, so it is. It's somewhere between those two, and as this is happening, its tongue seems to be consumed, and so as you're watching it, and it,
I was
it,
gonna
like,
eat that later.
kind of burns further and further down. Then you can see that as you've held the thing's mouth open, that it continues even down into the base of the tongue where it attaches itself further back.
And under the tongue was a +3 large shield for me, right?
In some reality, yes, but not this one. And then once that's over, and that smell, that burning roasting smell dissipates, you feel almost immediately is that bit of weakness, that exhaustion level has dissipated.
No, perfect.
Hey,
good.
open the sack and let's see if the treasure is.
Yeah, let's
is still
review the treasure.
creepy.
How's it feel?
So what kind of like spell things you doing, or
Yeah, I'll
detect
I'll
magic.
ping
Detect-
my wand and
as you are releasing that power from the wand, you are still getting that there is a residual magic on it, but the necromantic magic is gone. And all that you're understanding now is the first thing you guys are aware of, and that was that fate, like transmutational magic.
And we still don't know what that does, right?
No,
Mundir, you seem remarkably knowledgeable about this topic. Can you guess as to what this lingering magic would be?
I would suspect that it is the intent and the will, the very personality of Astari herself, that it is imbued.
Like a lich's phylactery?
Nothing quite so severe as that, but I
Like
suppose
having for small
similar.
mercies.
That this is more that the proximity and the will of like the possession of it, the coveting of it, the ownership of it.
Like how she changed the plants above.
Yes, that just the exposure to her very presence, and in this case, a willful, thoughtful presence, has put an element of that into it. Not so much her own personality, but I would say for, probably months, maybe a year, that there'll be times where I could imagine you'd have terrible dreams, and you might even dream of the dragon. Possibly, depending upon the item, you might even see a memory through the dragon's mind's eye. There could be other things, weird forebodings that you could have, that you'll feel the effects of this, but they'll dissipate over time, and eventually they themselves will be gone once it's been in your possession for a time period. It's difficult to say how long that would be.
Maybe we can ask the Ixoa about it.
Oh, yeah, I bet they're
See
real
if they
keen on
have any
talking to me.
insight. No, you're the one who speaks the language.
This is true, and I'm also the one that desecrated their god. Let's see how it plays out.
So
and-
Mundir,
yeah, it's
looking
like-
at you, just says, I need to look around. I need to see what's here, and I don't intend to be trapped in that thing forever. But you opened it.
I'm not one to like keep you nice. I'm not one to keep you trapped or to keep you prisoner. Is there a way you offer to help us that I could call you to us, or just let you roam and call upon you if we ever need your assistance?
If you have any powers and ability that can reach across great distances, communicate ideas and messages to a person, you've seen me, you know who I am by name, use whatever power and ability you have. I didn't actually, when I came back here, and he says plane shift to you specifically. I came back here to this location and assumed you could. I can do that. But if you communicate to me that you need me, try to give me an idea of where you are, and I can usually get pretty close. And
Okay.
then I'm fairly smart. I should be able to find you if I can get close.
I guess in that time, if he can take physical things with him, because he's not like an incorporeal thing, he's an actual.
He's a physical
Okay,
thing. Yeah.
so I'll take that. Is he trying to get out of here at this exact moment to go and
He'd
continue?
like to go.
It'd be nice to know what he could do for us.
Yeah,
If we called on you, are you a source of knowledge or are you a source
I mean,
of
you're right here.
weaponized assistance?
You're right here. Ask him. Yeah.
Both.
I just did.
Okay.
I could do both of those things.
Okay.
I could also get the three of you easily out of a tight situation quickly. I'm not saying I could solve it for you, but I could get you out of that tight situation very quickly.
Okay. Then,
I have the ability to send messages across any distance.
Perfect. Just like that.
okay, what I'll before he goes out, I says like then I'm going to give you something, and I tell him I'm going to work on another map. I'm going to give it to you, and it uses the terms that we would be familiar with, being alive in this particular time period. So that way you can know if we say we're in an area, you know where that is, and however you need to focus on that with your own terminology, you could get your way to us.
And that would work well. And that's why I need to look around because everything's changed. The names of things have changed.
Yeah. So, by all means, here's and I if he hangs around long enough, I'll give him a map with just like basic landmarks, names to become familiar with. So that way he knows. Oh, this isn't. I don't know, Kroger anymore. It's a Publix now. Like whatever it takes for him to know. Shapanov's mission kind of stuff. Karn Keldley.
Sure. Yeah. And he would unroll it, start looking at it, and he said, "I'll make use of that." And I think I'll leave by more mundane routes. I want to see where I am right now. Any dangers above I should be aware of?
This area should be pretty cleared out.
If
You
you
don't think
follow,
the bugbears will attack him, do you?
They have no reason to.
if you follow
There's
the most,
bugbears right there.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll send a runner up ahead.
and if you follow the most direct path out of here, you shouldn't find any traps.
Well, yeah, because I'm assuming he has some capacity to fly.
He could just like go a zoop right up through the thing if you wanted to.
Yeah, because there's just shafts open to the sky.
But he
Yeah.
seems to want to explore the tunnel.
Because we never said officially, but I'm guessing he's a genie.
He's a genie.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, just telling him there are traps that we have not found in this area. If you follow the direct route out, you can avoid those.
We've
but
had the Exoa going through for a couple days.
Oh, have they been
Yeah,
disabled?
they've
Yeah,
been.
Oh,
They were forthcoming about.
They were pretty pliant to a new will being applied to them.
Mikasa Sukasa, make yourself at home.
Well, you killed God, so yeah, we might as well follow you now.
And as far as you could tell, the last you were looking at them when they were down here, they seemed to be kind of worshiping the tower. But who knows what they're thinking about?
Darren's intrate forces.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whatever I just tried to say.
Dave's instant forces, yeah.
Or Darren's, whoever. Who's Darren? Then he, looking at the map, goes walking toward the tunnelway to
The
head
instant
toward
deviled
the stairs.
eggs, you know what I'm talking about.
What is the name of him again? The genie?
Mundir.
Mundir. So the question being with that is, now that we have this flask, can we still use it as the item itself in 5e? Is that something that we could do with it?
Sorry, you're asking him that, or are you just asking me as DM?
Yeah, you as
that's
DM.
outside.
I guess
Yeah,
he might know.
that would be.
Well, he'd go, what's 5e?
Yeah. That answer would be a yes. That he's no longer bound to the thing. You've released him from it, and he's amiable. He's, if anything, appreciative. And
he's our ally. He'll come to us if we need him, if we can get in touch with him.
And he's
if
not busy with his own crap.
If he's able to be, right, yeah. But yeah, the Iron Flask, even though his name is on it because he was trapped into it, that it could still be used to trap us something
You
else.
could very easily have it, that part now be blank because it's identifying the creature contained because
Contain a new thing in the flask makes the change in itself. or
right, yeah,
something.
because the people of Old Bravos looked at it as like, well, that's stupid. We need to know what's in the box before we let it out.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So it's good to know. So we just have an ally that will, assuming he's not in the middle of something.
Yeah, we have
will
an extra planar
show up
ally.
if we need him.
Yeah, a pretty great ally.
And if we run into anything that's not from here, we can go, yeah, yoink, and just
Right,
suck
yeah.
it in, suck it in.
That's
too.
why it's so huge, because we've got a big, massive fiend, and we go, thump,
Right.
and now it's just in the box. And if we let it out, it's got to fight for us for an hour, and then we just stick it in the box
That's
again.
true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. So, thank him graciously for his help and wish him the best with getting back. Cause like he was a genie, but he was just a person. He was just a guy. Like he lived a life.
Yeah, he has his own existence, probably his immortal existence or near it. And
Which
he's
has
just
been interrupted for a few thousand years.
wanting to get back to, sure.
Well, welcome back to existence. By all means, get back to your life. If we find a need for,
But we
for
need
you,
to get
we will,
into, we need to get actually back in
do what?
to the question. So can we still use the asking in game?
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, there you go. So I ask him. So keep on forgetting his name.
Mundir.
Mundir. This item that was your prison, would we be able to use this without you, or would that in any way harm the link between you and I?
No, the link between you and I is more of a, not duty bound, but
A friendship.
like friendship. You can tell
Alliance.
he has his own life somewhere with his own people, but he is like, it's out of appreciation. That I appreciate what you've done. That was a small thing for you to simply open that. It was a massive thing for you to do to whatever that was, because I was imprisoned long before it. That I'm suddenly I'm free of that, and use it in good health.
Yeah.
Trap something else and enjoy having them fight for you.
We appreciate that, and like I said, we'll be sparing. We will be mindful with the friendship with your alliance.
Perhaps I'll see you walking around. What are you calling the upstairs right now? He like points to the kind of like to the whatever this region's called.
We haven't really given it a name, have we?
The region is Brimroar. As to this structure, we haven't really given it a name yet.
Brimroar. Then maybe I'll even see you wandering around the Brimroar.
That's more grandiose.
And
Okay.
He goes walking upstairs.
Ooh. I just picture him as like having like a wisp on the end, but I guess he is just a dude standing there.
As far as I'm aware, he could actually turn into a tornado if he wanted to.
Yeah, what type is he? Like is he a particular elemental? Like is he like air elemental or something?
Genie
Like that?
is a type of. It's in the subset of genie, spelled the
With a
English
J?
way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's DJINNI,
Mm-hmm.
which is the air and good subset of GENIE.
Okay. Well, there you go. Fantastic.
Yeah. So a lot of the stuff he does is like lightning and thunder and that kind of sky stuff based.
That's awesome.
Yeah, good guy to know.
Yeah. Unless you guys have any other reasons to hang around any longer, I guess we're ready to move out into the Brimroar.
Yeah. That I had mentioned Zelen sending messages to.
Yeah, and I prepared
Weldon.
sending, so we could do
Okay.
that.
All right. So to whom are you sending messages and what do you want to say?
We have 25 words.
Yeah, Arch Deerskinner, head of Weldon.
Mayor Weldon. Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be something like, secured holding however many days travel we are from Weldon and direction. So, 3 days southwest or whatever it is.
Okay. Yeah. You're probably close to 5, but yeah.
Occupied by allied bugbears and Ixoa. Please send stonemasons and carpenters to rebuild. We'll arrange payment later.
That's exactly 25.
I can see you.
I was
counting
counting
on
the
your
entire
fingers.
time.
Yeah.
And as soon as you got there, I was like, oh, he's going to get to 26. And then as soon as you said later, I was like, oh, okay, that was perfect.
So you can imagine too when Arch Deerskinner receives the message, like it didn't say signed your friend. Boy, it's like, I wonder who sent that. He knows it's from Zelen. He knows it's from Zelen. Yeah, but it's like I wonder. I got a message. I wonder who it's from. No, that's perfect.
Well, he can
Victor.
reply in kind up to 25 words, so now you get to show off your skill in that.
Yes, I'm
The
sure.
one thing going through my head was like, is like it depends on the direction. But no, I guess southeast is all one word. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. all the cardinal directions are one word. This is perfect.
And how much time does he have to respond in?
I don't know.
Oh,
Or like, does he receive it instantaneously?
He does.
Okay, then he can probably respond almost instantaneously too.
oh yeah. How long does that latent magic around him? How long does he get to do? Does it have to be within the next round? Is it like a 6-second thing to
You
write
send
your?
a short message of 25 words or less to a creature with you are familiar.
With which?
With whom?
Oh,
Could be.
it doesn't.
But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
The creature
it does
hears the
further down,
message
but
in
not
its
on that
mind,
page.
recognize you as the sender if it knows you, can answer in a like manner.
Immediately.
Okay, so immediately
okay.
makes most sense. And you, Zelen, you receive almost immediately then. Thrilled you're well. We wondered about you and thought you dead. We will arrange a party, caravan, and guards heading your way to build and extend your knowledge and power.
26.
Knowledge and
And it
it
blinks
broke
out.
right there. Missed it by
They're
a
building
word.
something.
Yeah.
Knowledge and something else.
Knowledge and
Cooking skills was what I was hoping for.
I wish I knew the podcast to give them a shout out, but I saw clips from a podcast where people are communicating via sending, and like the person on the receiving end who is sending reply messages, kind of a kind of doddering old guy, and like he'd get partly through a sentence and just. And then they'd go, what was that? You tailed off again. He's like, oh, my bad. I'm so sorry to do that. What I meant to say was, you'd need to do such and such and. Then he kept doing it like 4 messages in a row and kept, not sending the actual crucial bit.
That's great.
Sending any message to anyone else? Or
Tell us in the comments what that podcast was. So I can appreciate them
Find it
properly.
again.
Do we want to get in touch with anyone from Karn Cowdley?
Yeah, anybody else we want to?
Mr. Sage
Talk
or
to?
Or what about Drew Landry at Izango's Tower?
Oh yeah, hey, we'll be there in 10 minutes.
or one.
Incoming. And then we're
Honestly, yeah. So one round, send a message. Next round, you cast the spell. We're there 6 seconds later.
Just sending this so you're not on the fresher when we get there.
The
Well, we're
duration
coming in
is
through
1 round, so
we're
I don't
coming
know
in
if
through
I
a
have to
tree
keep
adjacent.
if each sending. I don't know if I have
Each
to do the
sending's
spell.
a new spell.
Yeah, so
I think we just bounce there.
Yeah, if you're gonna get there that fast, what's the? Why
as long as they
not?
don't, as long as they don't shoot at us because they get surprised.
What are they going to shoot us?
I think they could be surprised in a moment and make the
because I
realization.
look like Bug.
Oh yeah.
Take your helmet off and then go, or
Yeah,
something.
You got
honestly.
plenty of hit points. You can take a few hits before you go. Stop it.
Quit it. That tickles.
Right?
Well, with the new feet.
Oh yeah.
So what do you tell Tullet?
Who's Tullet?
Tulat.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tullet. Yeah, sorry.
It's like I thought this was like sending a message of theirs. Like I don't remember a druid named Tullet. Like what?
Jethro
Jethro
Tullet.
Tullet.
Do we know each other? Have we met?
You seem familiar.
We're going to return to Izango's Tower, where these leaves belong, and finish that quest. From there, we will likely convene with other leaders of our people to the north in Warland, if you know that region. And on your map, that is definitely the area.
Yeah.
As opposed to a continent view.
Yeah, rarely traveled there, but I know where you mean.
Yeah, so make sure that we all know and see what's going on there. We should be back. We could be back within a couple of days. Likely will take a longer time returning.
We're also sending skilled craftsmen to help rebuild this space.
To clear out the twisted plants.
Yeah. What are
To
some?
rebuild the structure.
So what's the sign of the bugbears out there, so that way they know what to look for when the outfit arrives?
They'll be looking for a caravan of half orcs, and
Oh, that's right.
the
'Cause didn't you get them some symbol that was like the thing that they were?
yes, they do have a coat of arms. I forget what it was. I can look it up. If you
But
give
it
me a
looks
second.
like this. We say the thing that Boris would remember.
Yeah, I think it's like a lion head and a key.
That sounds familiar. So yeah,
What a little village we're creating.
Right?
Ixoa, bugbears,
I think you
half
mean-
orcs.
Duchy.
Yeah.
What a
it's-
little duchy we're creating.
What a big duchy. Now, the Tulat turns to you, Zelen, and says, "Now about the clearing of this, we can certainly begin this process.
Yeah, lion head and a key. Yeah.
Very good, and we'll watch out for that tell them that about that symbol, or if you're able to relate to them. But the trees that were these unusual trees that grew within this particular circle, can they be felled? Should we fell them and burn them? Should we fell them and use them for defenses and buildings? What's the nature of this wood? Is the wood itself evil, or is it once it's dead, it's just wood?
How do I know? Do I do
Do a nature roll.
you want help?
Yeah, because I'm not great at nature.
Oh, I'll also roll one.
Oh, I rolled a natural 20.
Nice.
Which makes it 24.
How's that? Was that a 4 or is that a 1?
That's a 4.
Thanks for the help.
But that actually makes it a
10.
okay. You are positive that this wood can be used for all sorts of things. It grew in a strange way. That it in itself, or the stuff in itself, would be, if anything, a denser wood, and maybe even be a stronger wood to use for various buildings. But it could be used, shaped, felled as any wood would ever be.
Any wood.
Any wood. Is there a conifer tree close to the the entrance of the of the keep
I-
building.
He's limited to conifer.
I know.
You're not.
I know, but if we could keep, if there's a conifer tree,
There are large conifer trees that are near the crest of this hill. So, like,
does that mean it's close to the entrance?
Yes, so you'll put close within, say, 100 feet.
Because I'm thinking if we save one conifer tree, you could zip to the conifer tree. I can zip to the conifer tree.
Well, mine's limited
You could
to
follow.
Mine's limited to 20 miles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm
Which is
gonna.
still quite the area.
But
still.
I'm
but
gonna-
still to know you could always just get
you have
right
a
there to the
20-mile
very top.
radius.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
the smart thing. You leave that tree.
Right. Well, and is there another large tree that's very close to the entrance?
Yes, there's large trees of all
So
types
I'm
of
going
it
to
here.
tell them to save the conifer tree that I just
Yeah.
identified
And
and,
like
the
a-
largest
the-
tree
like-
that's close to the entrance. Leave those two.
I'd prefer just the one target tree.
Okay.
It-
It's his keep.
It's
so,
less obstruction visually from atop walls.
so leave the one conifer tree, but the
Okay.
rest of these can be used for anything. Their growth was altered, but their substance wasn't.
Okay, perfect.
I mean, what are the
And-
odds that there's a courtyard in this keep that we can just say, oh, it just happens that there's a conifer in the courtyard of
What are
this
the
thing?
odds that I
Build one
build
around
one
it.
around
yeah.
it?
Yeah,
there you
really.
go. So we keep that one conifer there, and your keep just kind of overtakes that one.
Yeah.
There you go.
Pretty cool. And
I'd want to speak with whoever's kind of elected leader among the kobolds.
The Ixoa?
Yeah.
yeah, so
Ixoa, sorry.
Man, you got corrected.
there is no process to that, but eventually they managed to sift it through to one, and you're pretty sure that they were all holding back because they're expecting that one to be executed.
And I'd want that one to meet me down by the Daren's Instant Fortress. Or do we have Daren? Is it just Instant Fortress?
Yeah, I have to go back to my own notes. I forget.
Yeah.
I think I'd called it something else.
The
But-
Tower of Awesomeitude.
Right.
I like that.
And he is brought with guard down to you.
Yeah, so
What's his name?
how are you called?
Oh, Wixoa.
And I'd imagine you're translating,
Oh, yeah, probably, yeah.
'cause I don't speak your
He
common.
calls himself Wixoa.
Wixoa.
I say the command word that collapses the Instant Fortress.
And it does.
Um,
Yeah, he jumps.
Did we clear that out first?
You have new god in your pocket.
yeah, so holding the cube kind of gesturally as proof of my power, I wouldn't need to say it. I intend to make a home of this place, to bring others of my kind and lead here.
And as you're saying, you can see his eyes, look over at the
like,
dead dragon over
What
there.
are you explaining
that's
before
been
you kill me? I'm not
desecrated.
just killing me.
yeah, the fortress, this cube, like in your hand or wherever it is right now, and he doesn't nod, he doesn't smile, he doesn't do anything. He's just there.
No, Mr. Wixoa, I expect you to die.
You followed your faith, and as a warrior of faith, I understand and appreciate that conviction. I would have you and your people in my service, not as a new god, but as a lord, a chieftain.
And he says, to do what? What would this service be?
I'd imagine largely what you did here on behalf of Ixoa. Gather food, tend to the structure.
Rebuild the stairs underground?
Yes, but without taking stone from the keep above.
and no
And-
traps.
Patrol the forest?
Much of the forest will be cut away.
And again, you can see he gets this kind of sickly. You saw like his body sort of shake all over.
But that's what keeps us safe.
Yeah. And then where should I tell then this has always been home. I wouldn't know where to go. We wouldn't know where to go. We accept, but I am wary.
With reason.
Yeah, and you can tell he's not giving really exactly a choice in all of this. That, the choice is he could just leave right now, I suppose.
Yeah,
But
no,
he'd
I've
have-
demonstrated I have no intention of killing him, but where is he going
He
to
had
go?
no place to go. Yeah, so staying here to work, and they probably just see where that is.
Yeah.
And as you're like, okay, and that's done, and the guard's about to like take him like back out and up.
Mhm.
Because there are what you actually would have done is that, and we didn't go into the description of it, that there was different areas underground, caves before you get down to this area.
Mhm.
Some of those branching tunnels where they had different caverns. They would grow like mushrooms and other stuff. If there was light sources, that they actually had enough.
Mosses, probably.
Yeah, that kind of stuff that was part of their food stuff. There's an awful lot of it, really. And also living quarters in there, too, that they weren't just surface dwellers. So he's probably being taken up to there, make the most sense. That's where they're being held. But then he pauses and turns back to you, and he said, "A request."
Speak.
That in a year's time, that the people Ixoa can request, if they've learned about more of the world, that we could leave then.
I picture you as my staff, not my slaves. You would work for me as long as you find the work good.
And then as soon as Jacob translates those points, he nods his head and turns back and is allowed to be directed by the bugbear back up.
Do you want to make a point of like telling the bugbear he doesn't actually have to guard him away at this point, or you still want to keep that as a point?
I do want to keep a kind of hierarchy, that as the two of them acclimate to each other and that becomes more lax and more, and guarding them is less and less frequent, fine. But I don't want to just give a decree, because then any malcontents in their ranks would just start acting up.
Okay.
All right, so from that point, the bugbears know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You guys know what you're doing, and the Ixoa know what they're doing.
And the Weldoners will be here in however many days.
Right. And I guess it's time for you to leave this area.
All right, Zelen, you want to get us to the tower?
Do you have another sending left? We're probably going to be long resting again. Anyway, do you want Drew to make sure he's not taking a dump?
I don't think it'd be a bad idea. Just let him know we're on our way.
Yeah, it's like, hey, about to be there.
Yeah.
Also, I guess from one point, just saying just to make sure nothing's happened. If you ask Drew and just say, "Hey, we're on our way there," if you get no reply back, or you're saying "Oh God, the fire," then we might be like, maybe not.
All right, so I'm going to do a sending to Drew.
Okay.
And just say, we're on our way. Be there imminently.
Imminently.
And his response
Incoming.
is, I'm so glad that you're all right. I look forward to seeing you. And for him, it would have to be, he'd have to have an idea of what this is, what kind of thing she's doing.
Or
But
he's
probably-
thinking we're just camping, breaking camp in the morning and we're a day's walk away.
That could be, right. Or even, okay, we're leaving for you right now. See you in a week.
Yeah, right.
He doesn't really know which one of those it is, but he could assume.
When you finally switch over to Amazon, you get 2-day shipping with Prime. It really kind of shocks you the first time that package arrives, only days after you ordered it.
Okay.
So
Was that an ad? Are we getting paid for ads? If we're not, strike that from the record.
That's right. We better get some kind of a kickback.
We don't do no free advertising, except for that podcast I mentioned. But I don't recall what podcast it was, so it doesn't even count.
What brand of kombucha?
But somebody out there was like, yeah, that's us.
All right.
All right, so sorry, Zelen, go ahead.
the spell creates a magical link between a large or larger inanimate plant within range and another plant at any distance on the same plane of existence. You must have seen or touched the destination plant at least once before. For the duration, any creature can step into the target plant and exit from the destination plant by using 5 feet of movement.
All right. So
So we lined up, we're ready to go?
it's reasonably likely that you've seen a big enough tree near Izango's tower.
Heck yeah. All right.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You guys, I think that first week you lived there for about a week, and you could easily choose like that big tree that was right over there
Yep.
to the left hand side of where the waterfall used to
I
fall down.
say alley-oop, and we go.
And then everyone makes movement.
I wonder what that means.
Yeah, into the tree and back out of the tree.
If she just had a stroke, should I trust her spellcasting? Yeah, what the hell?
Why not? Yeah, and that took out.
There's no
items,
failure chance or anything like that?
4 and 5 of the traveling back. So yeah, so things might have happened. You could have seen things on the way, but
Well, I mean,
you
I would
haven't,
argue that,
which
like-
is there very quickly. No, being there quickly is really
an
really cool.
encounter avoided is experience earned. So
Yeah, but we don't do experience.
That yeah, you've missed every single monster and everything in the Brimroar. You probably just leveled up again.
honestly, I'm totally down with that.
Well,
We'll go ahead
considering
and-
how long it takes us to walk past, walk through the Brimroar, we probably would have leveled up in another 10 sessions.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking
really.
cinematically though, just to like give that little like jab in the side as we're teleporting through there, it just flies past all the encounters that we missed, and one of the encounters there's this amazing hoard of treasure that we missed out on, including an amazing bow and an amazing shield that we just don't even know exists.
A guy
Nothing
selling
in it
salt,
for me. I
A
don't
guy
care.
selling salt.
and
Well,
you
I think
are.
we did technically go past Brian, so yeah.
I mean, yeah, we could so easily just stop back by Griant now and check in
you
on
could
things.
actually,
We can, if
you
you
guys
want
could
to.
instead of camping out for the rest of your adventuring existence until you build this tower or make this stronghold, stop at an inn sometimes when you're near one. You guys could just go home.
Well, once
Yeah.
you have 2 6th-level spell slots.
yeah,
Well, even then, if we do it like at the end of the day, if we know we're gonna be spending the night there,
Yeah, but then how do we get back?
the next morning when she
the next
restarts
morning
the
when
spell.
she prepares her spells, she just
Yeah.
has no 6th level spell slot that day because we
So
used it
then-
to get back.
Then she'd get the next one the next morning. It's
That's what I
every,
mean.
It's
So-
every other day until she gets 2.
Yeah, at the end of the day, she decides we're gonna go back. So like in that afternoon, we teleport over the grind. We stay there over that night, and the next morning she's got her new spell
prepares her
slots.
spells, then
We head back out.
we head back out. Yeah,
Right, yeah. But then we're not always just staying at home because it's the next day that
Oh
we...
yeah, no.
Yeah,
It
sure.
would take
yeah.
Every
You
other
couldn't-
day.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
quit telling me I'm wrong when I'm right.
You're assuming that she used the 6th level spell slot on the first day.
All right. Anyway, so we're there.
You're there. Yeah, that fast. And you recall, Jacob, you had scouted out spots to build some kind of structures for them to live in,
Yep.
outside the confines of the tower itself. And you can see there's been, built, redoubled, reinforced, and rebuilt, that they are substantial structures in that they are very cabin-like made. They're not just lean-tos anymore. So you can tell they've probably worked every single day on making it a more livable place.
Nice.
And almost immediately, one of the 2 acolytes, Henry, he's like carrying something, and he's like, he stops and he sets it down because you're just suddenly there. That wherever you sent that to Drew Landry, that wherever Drew is, he
Drew walks out and says, hey, they'll be here. Oh,
yeah, it's a little bit like that. That he was like doing something else and he couldn't stop whatever he's doing right then. That apparently Henry didn't even know you were showing up. You just just showed up, and he probably saw you exiting the tree. So he's really impressed, and then in a moment they're calling for the other acolyte with Sylvester. That he hollers back from somewhere, and within a moment they're there too. But Drew walks right over to you, and hugs you, and he's like clapping you guys on the shoulders, very happy to see you because he probably thought you were dead. Up until you were gone.
Yeah,
for
we've been gone for a long time.
so long.
yeah. Right.
And
No
crap, yeah.
reaction to his anti-armor?
well, there would have been.
Well,
yeah,
I took my helm off so you can see it's me, but
yeah.
I do look kind of spooky.
I would have
Oh
like
my
my one
God.
shoulder kind of lean back and say, wow,
We were
that's very different.
underground for so long. I forgot how long it was.
Genuinely,
since
we
we've
were
been here.
underground for like 3 months.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
can
was
understand
a-
why he thought we were dead.
Yeah. So he leads you like straight over to where they've built will be a little bit like
A lodge hall.
yeah, like stone around the base of it and like poles going up on the top. Central fire, very, very primitive living, but much better than
Only
lean-to.
comfortable.
Yeah, and yeah, very, very warm and dry
Not
inside.
made of dead ants. I'll be thinking about that for the next 8 years.
And they immediately start preparing food, getting out this and that. They apparently have some kind of a homemade beer or a mead. They're pouring that into tankers, pulling up chairs for you guys.
Treats are great.
Making you as comfortable as possible. And they want to find out everything from you guys and everything that
so
you've done.
today is probably just recounting everything, and tomorrow we're actually doing the thing.
Yeah, I, whatever you want to do. So,
Well, just considering the amount of time explaining everything and then answering questions will take.
how'd that come from? Where'd you get this? How'd you get to there?
Yeah.
Where was it?
A great big pool of what?
Of eyes and mouths.
Yeah.
So
You ate what?
so when all that talking and questioning and just interacting with you, it's Drew an awful lot. Sylvester and Henry just didn't know you guys all that well,
Yeah.
but by even the end of the rest of that day, you feel very comfortable on them and vice versa. And they also talk to you about what it's been like being here. They've made a point to change as little as possible in the surrounding area. So they've worked to not establish particular trails, but try to find different ways, like, back down into town.
Good.
And out and away again. But they rarely leave. They really go from it. It's been a real occasion of immersion in nature and meditative thought and prayer, and much less even like having to get like supplies if you're on a camping trip or something. So they've largely been living here all this time and have rarely left. But you can see that it is improved, that the very area of it
Well, there's starting
looks
to
like
be kind
it's,
of a temple around it instead of just the one building.
yeah, it's a tended place. It's a very nice looking place.
Have you encountered wasps and the giant lizards?
Kind of the wrong end of the Brimroar.
Yeah, no,
is it?
no giant lizards.
Yeah, we're near Hiller, which is near Warland.
Oh,
And there's one occasion where we encountered 2 of those giant wasps, and that was a little further to the west of where we are right now. So, but right here, very few things come through this area, apart from the squirrels, deers, things like that. It's been a very quiet place, a quiet posting. It's been refreshing to be away from from Warland itself. Part of me does miss just having a regular house and all the comforts that I used to have, that we used to have, but it's been a much more peaceful time than what you have had, certainly. And the threats you were concerned about, that we'll be able to defend ourselves, would there be something coming here, either looking for you or for the tower itself? That hasn't happened.
Good.
So
I'm glad.
it's
Excellent.
remained a secret. Whatever it was you were concerned might have been found out.
excellent.
And unless you have other things to say, talk, prepare, and that could go on like late into the night.
Yeah.
They have additional buildings, and what they're probably going to do is just have the 2 of you guys, like sleeping up in this one, and
Us in one, Zelen in the other.
and right, and Drew, he vacates his own. They have their own like little huts, little cabins. He vacates his for you, Zelen, and he stays the night with the other 2 guys, with Sylvester and Henry. So
Yeah.
nighttime, sleeping, next
Do I
morning.
need to? Are the other pieces in Lemon's secret thing?
They're already placed.
Yeah, they're already there.
Oh,
I've got the
forgot that.
leaves. The others have already been placed on the pedestal. And Lemon's secret zest is what you were trying
Lemon's
to say.
secret. Thing.
What'd she actually say?
Lemon's secret thing.
All right, we ready? Are we gonna go and
Let's
take the
do
leaves?
the ceremony. I'm
Yeah,
surprised.
right?
I'm surprised we
Yeah,
waited
me
a whole
too.
day before doing it.
Yeah. Well, it's good to be rested.
Having a sense
and
of
it's good to-
community.
right. Yeah.
Making sure we were fully decursed.
Yeah.
And if in that next morning, Jacob, you're walking around, you can see that he was good to his word. There is that little hint of a trail that came to the base of where the water was dammed up, where the creek, was, and now the illusion is. And it isn't any more traveled than it was. It's still very much a deer track. And that's the closest thing to a road coming into and out of this place that there is.
Good.
Excellent.
All right, yeah. Let's go in with the leaves.
All right. So, yeah, walking down in through that illusionary area, you go to where it had been like a stone tunnel and a wall. You go into the other area that was the steps, the arched niches, and in the center of that, the column that has the base and the trunk. And it's quite apparent as who is holding the leaves right now.
I am.
Boris.
Okay, that just exactly how that'll fit. It's quite clear to see how they get set in place.
And I set them in place.
And when you do, there is a vibration that starts, almost like a distant thunder. It rumbles low through your feet. You feel coming up through your legs as though
I
power.
knew you should have checked for traps.
As though power was being stored down inside there, and it radiates upward. And it's almost as though you can feel the air being pushed out of that area. It's like a snap of wind, and with that, it is very much like a clap of thunder where you are, and like almost lightning fast. The walls, actual physical walls of where you've seen this transparent, like ethereal tower, are shooting upright and substantial around you. Closing in that space. And they're dark stones. It's a heavy gray, and it runs itself right up to the top to where there's a ceiling at the top of that minaret, well over your head. On the insides, they're illuminated so that you can see whatever the light sources are on the underside of the floor that's well above you, and along the sides of the walls, down along those lengths, and it's enclosed, therein. And the moment you do that and those sides are up, you see, without you even willing for it, the spiders traveling themselves down and like latching onto you if you allow them to do so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'll allow it.
trusting them that they're not going to like splatter us into the new ceiling.
Yeah, so as you
But
go
it's
up,
actually a tower now.
it is a substantial tower. And as you go up through it, and as you're being whisked up, you can see that different areas of stone that were points of illumination, and they are points of illumination. That they're also some sort of a translucent stone, and you can see out through those points, though there's not a place to stop Like there's no landing, there's no stairs to it, but you can see through the stone at those points. So even though it's a totally contained tower, it's not just a dark, like dungeon-like space in there.
Yeah.
It's very light, and even though the walls, as dark as they are, you'd say it's basalt. That there still is a light structure to it with crystals. It looks like quartz that are used as like appointments, details on the inside. And as you go racing up at that same speed with these spiders on you, and we didn't specify, is it just the three of you, or were the druids there with you too?
No, I
think
thought it was
just the
just
three of
us.
us, yeah.
Just the three of you. All right. So then, as you're racing up there, it is that you shudder for a moment, and those phase spiders phase you right through the ceiling. And then the next moment
Into that upper chamber.
you're in the upper chamber that you're so familiar with. They stay attached to you as always. That seems to be part of it. But you're now in a room that is all crystal and basalt. So it's almost like it's like dark gray and a beautiful, beautiful white. And you're looking out actual windows up the upper top part of this tower.
So cool.
Is this the
Wow,
same place
and
where
it's
we
a-
could focus on a spot and be able to see
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Right,
but
yeah,
it's a
but it's a
real
room
physical
now.
place
It's an
now.
actual
Oh,
room.
nice.
If we detach from the spiders, we wouldn't fall 80 feet.
That's exactly right. And even, may I assume that Boris even thought that in that moment?
Yeah, probably.
So that if Boris thought that, the spider detaches from it, because he detached with the spider. He did, and he just stands. He's
I'd
like,
probably flinch for it.
I've never been up here and that did that. That the moment you would want to utilize the ability of the tower, that spider be right on you again, because that connection still needs to be made. And that rolling, like that resonance, that vibration that built to it, that was gaining in like power and like reverberation and resonance, that once you're up there in it, you can feel that there's something else happening. It's as though from down below, there is more coming up and through that, and then racing up like through, and you can see through where the corners, where each one of the different walls meet the floor, there's some of that translucent stone. You have just a moment where you can see what looks like a large something moving through it. And then somehow it is outside the building, and it is wheeling around the building, and then it comes to a stop, wings spread, and you're looking at a large metallic dragon. That's
Are you
hovering.
guys getting flashbacks to the dragon at Shipano's mission? Because I am.
So again, this dragon hovering there, you see, is it's huge. It's an adult dragon, metallic. You would say that it is a bronze dragon, and flapping its wings almost gently, it hovers closer and closer, coming in closer and closer, and it says, "You have restored my tower." The blessing of Izango. And you say Izango, you know he's naming himself and sharing his name with you as he's making this blessing.
In a proper introduction.
Right, is upon you. I feel as though you've been functioning and working as my agents to this point, and in some ways, I is yours. But the restoration of this tower is a great moment in the will of Uko, as that light is being recast through the world. And you can tell, even without doing this, but do an arcana if you're able to, and or religion. I'll take either one of those.
Natural 20.
Very nice. That he is.
I don't want to say what I got. What'd you get? 6.
7.
I'm natural 28.
I'm so overwhelmed with the moment of actually seeing my patron in person. I rolled a nat 1 on my religion check.
Yeah, I hope the proper response to that to spellcasting was for me to wet myself.
I'm so unbelievably out of my element right now.
Yeah, you're like, bugs! Big bugs! Go floor!
You recognize there is a transfer of power. This is Zell making the realization that is very similar to what happened at the throne of Indara. That with this transfer of power that came with this blessing of Izango, you are aware that at will, like as a ritual, but without any components or a need for the use of a spell slot, that you can cast an augury spell. That as a regular function of what you do. So, like to give an idea, by casting, hang on.
All of us can, or this is just for me?
This is all of you, yeah. That in the casting of an augury spell, let's see, that you can determine the outcome or an outcome that might come, employing some other divining tool, and this would be your brains. You receive an omen from an otherworldly entity, and this would be really from Izango, about the result of a specific course of action that you plan to take within the next 30 minutes. And then I do the choosing as the possible omens, and that is either that it would have good results, it has bad results, could be good and bad results, or nothing whatsoever could come from that. But it gives you an insight into major courses of action that you could know, is this the right direction for us to go in?
Cool.
Okay. Obviously, we haven't been doing a good enough job of following the plot, says the DM.
Well, I think that's, get us out of a jam spell.
It allows
Why flip a coin when you can literally ask God?
Yeah, right.
something more like that. And that any healing spells you have the capacity to cast right now, even if they're a touch, have now an effective range of 10 feet.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
And that would be unless there is something in the spell itself that already has a greater range to it. So that's, if it has a greater range.
Does it increase all healing spells by 10 feet? So like it goes from self, like touch to 10 feet, and then it goes from like 50 feet to 60 feet?
I think it makes the minimum range.
I was arguing for something better. Shut up.
I only keep it what I had said a moment ago.
When you're on the ground unconscious and Zellen's like, but he's 50 feet away. I only have 40. You're
her major healing spells are 60 feet plus.
Hop.
But
I can heal myself as a bonus action. Is that healing spells and effects, like my lay on hands, or just if I cast
effects too?
Okay,
so that would be
nice.
That would be like your paladin's ability.
So you can argue for better stuff. You just got to be me.
I need to figure out how to get some sort of a healing something imbue into an arrowhead so I can shoot you, and it feels better.
Well, no, you shoot me, and then Zellen 10 feet past me gets healed.
So when somehow you take out your Jacob, you take your potion of healing, uncork the thing like from 10 feet where Boris just took damage, and you just pour it into the air, and it goes in the stream, dribbles like right into his mouth. As long as you're within 10 feet.
It'd be fantastic if we do that, but like I'm firing into combat, so I'm hitting the guy that he's hitting, but it's like every time I hit him, it's like necromantic energy flowing into Boris and healing him with every shot that I make.
Am I a vampire? Am I okay with this?
A little bit, and yes. And then as he stays hovering out there, he says, I am the spirit of this tower. This is my place. It is a beacon for the good of Uko, and it has been hidden for so long. This is a sign that the world is once again ready to receive the goodness of Uko and to spread that goodness throughout all the region and all the land. You are the instruments of that change. And it is daunting to see this thing just flying outside there.
This is so cool.
And it is, the same like size as the bones that were there at Shapanov's mission. Nice. That I shall descend into the earth and remain here as the foundation of protection and power and energy. But I will say this to you before I once again readopt my true dwelling space for the purpose this tower was created. And that is that there is a terrible evil. It's in a place that is known as Vistari. It's been Vistari since long before my history is long. It's been centuries, potentially millennia, that it has been known as that. There is a tower on a hill, there is a throne, and the evil that comes from that place is spreading this direction. And I can feel it now, that the evil of that place is looking for you, specifically. That you've done enough already to interrupt it, to thwart it in some capacity, and it wants not simply vengeance, but it needs to eliminate you to continue with its own plans. It is a terrible threat and must be met. Maybe not directly, but in some capacity.
Is that our next mission from you?
That is the greatest threat to this region and the will of Uko, to that of freedom, to self-determination, is that mansion.
Is this evil the hand behind this Rex?
It is. It is that. A being sits on a throne that has greater implications and power than simply a seat of authority. That it is a magic something that spans planes, and a human man is tapped into that power and uses it for horrible purposes. And part of what he does is make dead. He makes dead living, and they are amassing, and he is working to subdue this region. His name is Vatric Ephron Nist, and his greatest lieutenant in this region is a person named Vidborg, and Vidborg is close. He is in Southland now, and he is working to find you.
Will he attack this tower? Are you safe here? Is the tower safe?
Nothing is safe permanently, and there are great powers brought against it. The throne of Vistar, often referred to as the throne of Southland, if that were used in its proper way, this tower would be destroyed in a moment. So, no, I'm not truly safe here, but it is much stronger, and he uses the tower, he uses that throne inappropriately, and he doesn't even know the power that he has at his fingertips.
Now we saw Sylvain at Karn Cuddly.
No, at
Somewhere.
the stair. We looked at the black stair and saw him, and we were scrying him, and he looked at us and went,
That's
"Oh crap!"
right. Okay. Oh yeah, the last time we were here.
Yeah,
Okay. I remember that. 'Cause
yeah. That was the big thing of here.
Yeah. Okay. Because I remember I had it written down because you'd had me make these weird memory checks, like perception or intelligence
Right.
for remembering a thing later. And I was like, I have Sylvain written down somewhere in my notes, and it was like, yeah, I had a intelligence roll to recognize Sylvain.
Because we had passed him in the city, too.
Yeah. So asking.
Yeah,
Mhm.
He is aware that this tower once more stands. He knows now that there is a greater threat from this region of the Brimroar than he has from any baron in the free baronies of Southland, that this is his greatest threat here now.
But does he know where it is?
Yes.
So
With the recreation of this tower, he now knows exactly where it is.
So we probably need to get the druids out of here. They protected it for the time being, but knowing now that this will probably absolutely have people coming in down upon it, do we
Yeah.
want to get our use out of it now and scry as many things as possible to gather information in this moment?
Yeah, and I think what we'd need to do is strike into their stronghold or a stronghold and shift their attention.
What is their stronghold's name, or what was it?
We knew it's Black Veld.
But what is its
because-
ancient name? If we had to focus on it with this tower to try and
That'd be the Vistari Mansion,
okay,
and he would tell you that himself. That's where he is, but that would be an impossibility for you guys to get to.
okay. So what about Sylvain? Do we know anything about where Sylvain is operating out of?
He's probably operating out of Black Veld. Remember when Whitney Pratt came and attacked us in the Brimroar?
Yes.
So that then
That was the barony to the north that was right along the coast, where all the salt came from, where the
Yeah.
merchants take it down. There was all that interrupted, and that, if you recall, that barony was stripped of its power. That it no longer functions as a barony that has a leadership. There might be people that still live there, but there's nobody
Well, yeah.
there.
If our next goal is to find and take out Sylvain, what do we need to focus on now to try and see what he has at his disposal to get us in our best foot forward for what we need to have when we go in to attack him? Where do we think he is? How do we see him?
I'm betting he's in Black Veld, and we could scry on its keep there. What I think we'd need to do as far as action is rally Southland, get all our allies together, raise an army.
So, with all this being said, Izango in that moment looks a little weary, and he says, "I must touch and dwell the stone beneath the tower as a physical thing. Listen for my voice as you ask for help to know what you should do in the future." And he descends, and he goes out of your eyesight, from where the window is. And you hear like a clap like thunder again, and you can imagine he just impacted the ground and somehow went right through it. So, you have spiders on you. What's the first thing you want to look at or
The
look
keep
to?
of Black Veld.
All right. So, as you put your will in that direction, it is so much easier. Even with the three of you, it just takes you right to it, and you have a suspicion that even if just one of you were there. Up at the top of the tower, and you had a belief that it needed at least 3 of you before the tower was a corporeal thing, a substantial thing, that to make it work, that one of you could do it now. And as you stretch your mind in that direction, that you do see as you're like coming into the very capital and then the capital mansion in Vlakveld, that there is a marshaling of some sort, a gathering of force that is there, and you really can't tell about the people that are being organized there, but it's raining as you're seeing it, in present time, and it looks like there are rows of people that are simply standing in the rain, as there are others joining the ranks. People are moving about. So there is something very odd with the marshaling of whatever this group of people is, that they seem.
Are they people, or are they?
Do they look
are they
normal?
Dead?
Well, yeah. So
are there arrows in them?
You're noting right now that you can actually zoom in with greater detail than what you could before, because you would get to a certain point where your vision would stop. It's like it couldn't go any further or closer to various details, and you do find yourself hitting that barrier, and then you can pull yourself forward through that again. So you're looking at the courtyard that is a ruin. It's a shambles. There's big rents through buildings, part of buildings missing, where obviously great siegecraft and spellcasting happened sometime in the past. And the people that are arrayed and amassed out there, some are in armor and have weapons, some are in clothes like peasants. And as you're able to see them up close, you can see that some of them have weapons going through them, an arrow still stuck into them. You can see there's a rent going through the side of others where a massive weapon, like you rip them open. And you can see, when it's on exposed skin, very crude stitching, as though they were put back together again. And so their head would stay in place, their arms would stay on. That these aren't simply like skeletons or zombies, that they're something else that has been put together and patched.
Gross.
But not exactly.
How many does it look like there are?
That it looks like there's, at this point right now, a few hundred that are amassing in this courtyard.
Yeah, so definitely need to raise an army.
Yeah.
We need to get Irina Radabaugh.
That's right. She'd be the perfect person for that.
We just need to start sending out messages to people. I mean, we need to get back to. We don't
talk to Warland to see if we can get him on side. Get the Cornkeldley to talk to Baron Fleetwood.
Doesn't Warland currently hate us?
A little bit.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Arkland feels more like home than Warland does now.
So yeah, with that, I think what might have to happen is we kind of need to conquer Warland first and get the Zrex out.
Ooh,
remember the Zrex were also an influence back at Cornkeldley.
Yeah,
Zrex are all over the place.
We changed the power game and then got them out.
Right.
You guys want to go overthrow a barony?
I'd prefer to think establish my duchy.
Yeah.
Liberate a barony and establish a duchy?
Liberate. That's what we're doing. We're liberating the barony.
All right, so
by removing the head of power.
Yeah.
By removing the head of power.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to the geography of baronies in that area, Vlakveld was much, much stronger than Warland, and it's gone. There's nothing there that would be of assistance there. There is another barony that's northwest of, almost like right on the border of Manhurst Duchy in the Confederation of Duchies, and that would be getting even like further away, kind of further afield.
Yeah.
The very next substantial barony that would have any kind of might or power would be Warland.
Yeah.
It's the next buffer between that area and anything further south.
Yeah,
into Southland
so
and the
we've
Brimroar.
got my Southland barony with its capital in Weldon. Then
Right. Nominally.
Yeah. Then want to talk to Fleetwood about trying to pull him into that project. And then we conquer Warland.
Yeah, so you're working on raising the area. So where you felt this elation relating everything to Drew Landers and the other Druids yesterday, and the elation of restoring Izango's tower and meeting Izango like in the flesh, that when you realize what you're actually up against, it seems daunting again, that in order to be successful, you would have to completely conquer the entire region.
The quest is complete, but our road is still dark. Now we rally to fight the evil of the Zrex directly. Grow the army by sharing the podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Help us arm and armor the army, that is, get merchandise going, by donating at subscribestar.com/the-empires-edge.